Welcome to the podcast where two guys talk about stuff and drink coffee.
You can't handle the truth!
This is the Coffee with Phil and Jim podcast.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
And now for your listening enjoyment.
All right, everybody. This is Phil with the Coffee with Phil and Jim podcast. And sitting across from me is
Jimmy Nick.
And it's just kind of weird. We're kind of back in a studio-ish setting.
Yeah, man.
We've kind of been moved here. It's been a while. A lot has happened since our last podcast. And so today we may just go ahead and just kind of talk about some things that happened, get us going. But before we do, I want to remind everybody that you can search, subscribe, and share. But if you would please share. Please share this podcast with everybody. Send them a link. Point them in the right direction. We are on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, and we're also on YouTube as well. Now, we are just an audio podcast right now, but we will still be on YouTube as well. So make sure to go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the like button, set those notifications for when we get some new content out. You get those fresh to your devices, and then do that also with wherever you get your audio podcasts as well. So I want to get that out there for sure. And we have to plug in, like we've always plugged in, a very special blog as well.
Right. We got Chill Out and Serve there. And that's very special this morning. It's called Simply Follow. What I found real interesting was the story that the guy told about the resumes of the 12, and that 11 of them wouldn't have qualified for the job. Only Judas was the only one that met the qualifications for the job.
Yeah.
As such, which I thought was funny. And what I liked was this Tim Hansel of Hansel and Gretel Employment Service. I believe that's who wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hansel and Gretel, huh?
Oh, well, if you don't know what we're talking about, we are definitely talking about the Chill Out and Serve blog. And
Right.
you can find that online at chilloutandserve.com. And we want you to go on there. And the way that you subscribe to that is throw in your email to the right. And whenever a new a new blog comes out, then you will get that email notification and you'll have it, and so you can just click on the link. Now, for those that are in our church, you get a text message with a link that you can click on and go right to it as well. So some fantastic stuff there. So always check out chilloutandserve.com, and there's years of archived things there.
They're most excellent. If you want to learn something, Travis talks and he gets to the point, and I really enjoy them, and I'm glad he's doing them.
Yeah,
I've learned
absolutely.
I've learned a lot from those Chill Out and Serves.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
it chilling and keep it serving.
That's right. And I like that you can go back and you can
Right.
read things.
Go back and redo it.
Yeah.
Look back and say, yeah, well. Then go back and go, like I said, you can go way back on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a good thing. It's something we should all, especially the members of this church, really should be all reading every
Oh,
week.
yeah, absolutely.
Being in study with it. So
Yeah.
it's a great thing to have. I thank you for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of work that goes into that. A lot of focus, and it's straight from Scripture. So,
Right.
so it's a huge blessing to have that for sure. So, check it out, chilloutandserve.com, and make sure to throw your email in there and subscribe so you get those emails of when they go live. So, we are in a,
Yeah.
I don't know if we call it a studio right now.
Yeah, it's about as close as it's going to get.
Yeah. I will tell
There's a lot
you.
of toys over there.
Yeah. Okay, Jimmy Nick, if you were to describe the room we're in, how would you describe it?
Small. Very small.
I feel it too. Yeah.
It's like a closet.
Yeah. It's like a, I would say a larger closet, but
It's a walk-in closet. It's a walk-in closet. Only the best for
yeah.
coffee with Phil and Jim.
That's right. Well, and the whole cool thing about being audio too is you can pretty much go anywhere and record as long as you got your
Anywhere,
mics and a
right.
plug. So
That's right.
so pretty cool stuff.
It's pretty good stuff.
So let's talk a little bit about kind of some things that happened since our last podcast. Obviously, a lot of things in the world, a lot of things in our church, and so forth. I don't know, where should we start?
There's a lot you can talk about. It's been a while since we've done one of these. It's been I got older. Right.
You got older, but you still somehow maintain the same amount of doctor's appointments every year.
Every year, two a year. That's all I'm good for. Yeah, well, I guess it's actually 4. I see them every 6 months. So,
Okay.
That adds up to 4.
Yeah.
2 to each doctor. That's what I get. So, but
Yeah.
as long as I keep doing that, that's all right with me. There's no reason to go for anything else unless it's serious. you know.
Yeah, right.
The Lord has blessed me. I don't have to go that often, so just usual checkups.
Yeah, I've been going to the doctor a lot more. Had some different things. I don't know if anybody in our listeners have ever had gout, but that stinks.
But it does.
It is horrible, and yeah. So I've had some gout flare-ups personally.
Little gout, huh?
Yeah, had some blood pressure issues, and I don't know, just getting older. My doctor said several years ago, when you get to 40, it starts going downhill, and I'm past 40, so it's
Well, wait till you hit 50.
yeah. What's that
It's
like?
like a water slide. You know?
What just happened?
There's a big splash. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
So, anyway,
Wow.
yeah, it gets you by the time you get into your 50s.
Yeah.
I know people turn 50 and just fell apart, so
Yeah.
can't handle it.
Well, we were just talking about before we started a guy that he's 80 something and he's still working
Oh yeah,
all kinds of stuff outside doing, construction type things.
that thing, yeah, he does all kinds of work for our good friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's he's really good. He can keep going at that. Well, how about some other people we've known that's been in members of this body here that went till they dropped, literally.
Yeah.
You know, I know one. She was working when she
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah.
literally working, edging the lawn, and she's in her 90s. You know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And some people have got that and continue on through their lives. But
Do you think that's part of like living a life of just staying active?
yeah, from what I understand, she found out she had high cholesterol one time or something or another, and after that, she started walking all the time, and she got involved in silver sneakers, and
Mm-hmm.
I think they swim and do everything else over at that place, and so she's pretty active in it, from what I
Yeah.
understand, and it kept her going pretty good. But she's also related to somebody that everybody in their family lives to their mid-90s and stuff.
Yeah.
A whole lot of
Yeah.
them.
Possibly in the blood, I guess. I don't know. It's in the genes.
And it's on both sides of that family. So if you take
Yeah.
the other side,
Yeah, that's
the
true.
husband sides to her granddaughters or
Yeah.
nieces, I guess it'd be. Wouldn't it?
If we go off of that though, that's not very good for me.
Yes,
I don't think I like that.
stuff like that. Age-wise thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got an uncle now. I think he'll be 91 this year, so he's the only one that made it there.
Wow.
The rest of them didn't. But,
Or like Jimmy Carter, he died at 100.
100, yeah. The only person I ever heard of was in hospices for 2 years. It's like,
Wow.
that's a long time.
Yeah.
His wife went in there and died a week or two after she went in, so he hung on for 2 years.
Wasn't just a few years ago he was doing like help building homes for like HUD
Habitat
and things
for
like that?
Humanity.
Yeah,
Habitat
yeah.
for Humanity, yeah, he did a lot of that, so
Wow.
I guess that kept him going pretty good too.
I need to get more active.
Old peanut farmer,
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
else. 'Cause his brother didn't, I don't know, his brother was only about early 60s maybe.
Hmm.
But he liked to drink his own beer. They did have Billy beer back in the day.
Is that for real?
Yeah, They put it. I forgot who put it out, but it's Billy Bear for Billy Carter.
Huh.
You can buy it. It's the same. I think it's the same outfit that put out Mash Beer when they were in their last final going off the air.
Oh, the show, yeah.
Yeah, kind of deal there. So
That's a show. I remember when I was younger going to sleep to MASH because, like, the lineup was trying to think. It was like 10 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock was a show called A Current Affair. If you remember that show,
remember that, yeah.
a news program,
Yeah.
and then it went from there to I Love Lucy, in an hour of I Love Lucy, and then it would have MASH, and I would fall asleep to
This
that.
was in Texas, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I think here in Oklahoma, especially Oklahoma City area, that after it went off the regular air, that they showed it every night on Channel 5 after the 10 o'clock news. Come on, about 10:35, I think it was.
okay.
And it'd run for 30 minutes. Ran for years like that.
Wow.
I don't know if they still do it or not because I don't watch none of that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't watch regular TV.
Yeah.
So,
Are you kind of more streaming stuff, or?
well, I stream stuff, but I don't watch a lot of that anymore either. 'Cause
Yeah, it's gotten
worth
crazy.
watching, not worth watching. I've been catching some news on there about the fires out in California and everything, and trying to keep up on some of that. And we got a new president coming in here. He's an old president. And
Yeah.
we're getting him back again, you know.
Yeah.
I guess he'll just have to go. He goes in the books, I guess, with Grover Cleveland, doesn't he?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
Only president elected twice, but different times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So that's gonna bring a lot of changes in America, for sure.
I hope so. Hope there's some changes. We need them. We need to get back straight. Nobody will do that. People repent and come to Jesus Christ. Until that happens, ain't no politician will fix anything.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not going to happen. So.
Yeah.
It might make certain things, as far as the way the government runs and everything, maybe a little bit better, and maybe a bit more fair towards people in a lot of ways. Cut out all that nonsense, woke stuff. They need to get out of the way, get rid of all that. But until people come to a relationship with Jesus Christ, society isn't going to change, and that's the sad thing about it.
Yeah.
We're what, the richest society probably ever, and yet we turned our backs on God and Jesus Christ all the way down the line. I mean, we got false gospels out there and everything else.
A lot of false gospel. Yeah.
It's you got somebody coming in, they always question everything because they've heard so many different stories, so many different gospels. You know, you more or less you can just create your own Jesus kind of thing in this country anymore. Is whatever you want him to be, that's what he's going to be. You know, name it and claim it.
Yeah.
Like your old buddy from out of Fort Worth down there,
Oh yeah.
Mr. Copeland.
Mr.
Ken
Copeland. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he's part of that word phase where you can speak things into existence. You can even make tornadoes stop, you know.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that's right. And
So-
his jet he bought from Tyler Perry.
Right, you know.
Golly, no, you're right. There's a lot of confusion, a lot of different, and you know, there's a lot of kind of the social gospel going on too,
Right.
because you know, with our culture and how everything's changing, what people believe, and you know, that type of stuff. It has infiltrated church and you know, theology, I guess, as we know it, and brings a lot of confusion. But
I think a lot of it is the basic thing out there anymore, it seems like in the United States, is that, you know, I want Jesus, but I want to go and live in my regular life.
yeah,
You know, and they never give up anything, aren't willing to sacrifice anything for the cause of Christ. But he says, "What? Deny yourself, take the cross, and follow me daily," and that should be a total surrender and commitment to him. And most people, they want salvation. They just don't want to. They want him as Savior, not as Lord.
yeah,
And that's the bigger deal. But he said, "You got to confess me as Lord." What did he say in Romans over there? Confess me as Lord.
Yeah.
Confess me as Lord. Man, you can be saved.
What do you think? What do you see? I guess would be a better way to ask it. What do you see going on right now? just, I guess, in Christianity in general, that that's kind of making it a bad taste for those that are actual followers, you know?
I don't know. It seems to me like there's this. I don't know. It's a whole lot of stuff out there you could really get to talking about on that. I mean, as far as it doesn't. We want to see the truth out there, nothing but the truth, and we're getting a lot of false doctrines, like I said, and people thumbing their nose at a lot of things, and it makes it harder to go out and take the gospel to somebody because they've heard all this other stuff, and a lot of them have bought into it, and they actually believe it, and then you try to tell them, no, it's not that way, you know.
Yeah.
So it makes the job even more difficult, but Jesus wanted this kind of times in the end anyway, so we shouldn't be, you know, that it's unexpected. We should realize it's supposed to happen, but we shouldn't be afraid of it either. We should just keep on giving the gospel and telling people the truth. And if, it's up to them to whether they want to come to faith in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's not our job to save them. It's just
to
our
give
job
them
to,
the gospel.
yeah,
So.
give them the truth.
So you give them the truth, and then you got it. They all want to argue. They never argued the gospel with anybody. It's not what you're here for. You're here to give them the plain gospel of Jesus Christ, and that's it. If they want to argue over certain points of it, that's something for someday else, sometime else, and
Yeah.
later on, but not while you're giving the gospel.
Well, you know, we talk a lot about, and we've had talked a lot about relationship versus religion, you know.
Yeah.
And I think there's still a bad stigma, too, because of a religion, you know, what you see in religion. Now, it's in movies, it's in TV shows, you know, this idea of church. And it's interesting enough, like a lot of movies and TV shows, for instance, if there's any kind of religion in it, it's majority like a Catholic, you know, Catholic church or whatever.
Right.
But you know, you watch these shows, or you hear people watch that and see that, and so it's like they think that's the way it should be, and then, you know, and it could be very, you know, distasteful to them. I mean, they could reject it, and then when you do come with a gospel, now, you know, I don't say this. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. I'm not saying this as like a one-liner, but, you know, God can do anything.
Right.
And his heart is souls. His heart is for people to come to him, and through his son Jesus Christ. And that's his heart. That should be our heart as well. And you said earlier about, you know, changing and stuff. I find in my life there's more and more that I'm changing.
Right.
There's more and more that God is doing in my life to change, and it could be certain habits. It could be, you know, my schedule. It could be a lot of things that you change.
And it's what we value the most. We should value our relationship with him the most. And a lot of people put other things ahead of him, and we've been warned of that, not to do that, but still people do it. Mm-hmm. And they can take church, you know, take it or leave it kind of situation with a lot of people, you know. And that's why you got a lot of people out there church shopping to find the perfect situation that fits what they want.
Yeah.
Instead of just seeking out people that want to know and love Jesus Christ.
Or even feeling like they have to get everything together before, you know,
well, you gotta,
you know, they come to Christ, or they go to a church or whatever. I got to get things scheduled. I got to get right. Well, that's what God is there to help you with, you know.
Just fall on your face and repent and confess Him and confess your sins, and He will help you. He will bring you up out of that. But you got to be willing to surrender it all to Him. If you're not willing to surrender it all to Him, and that's everything.
Yeah.
And most people, you know, Sundays and Wednesdays, that's Jesus' days.
It's interesting though that the Sunday idea. I was watching a video the other day, and it talked about a certain church. I don't remember where it was. Where was it? Probably somewhere in the California or something, I'm guessing. I don't remember exactly where it was at, but it was considered a mega church. And so this mega church, have thousands of attendees and stuff, and it's a big thing to do. But it's just them coming on Sundays.
Right.
And for a mega church, and they don't have, oddly enough, they didn't have small groups. They didn't have any other times to get together. It was just like a Sunday morning only thing,
Right.
And there's a lot of butts in the seats, but I look at something like that and I wonder, even that is religion, right?
It's religion. I can testify because I went and checked out some of these when I lived over in the city. My curiosity, I wanted to know what goes on in these places. There's a lot of rock and roll going on there, light shows and stuff. But the biggest thing that I saw, like that one of them, they had 3 different services that morning, and the first service would show up, and they go in. Everybody sits down, they take their place, they pass the big buckets, they play the rock and roll music, and hardly anybody talks to each other. An hour's up, they get up, they leave, and the next group comes in, same thing, and repeats itself over and over 3 times.
Okay.
People really don't get to know each other.
Yeah.
Or anything, but they did their due diligence. They went to church for an hour on Sunday morning, and then they went home. So,
yeah.
So and it's one of those where all you got to do is come forward and say, "I love Jesus," and He baptize you, whether you believe it or not who He is.
Yeah.
They'll baptize you for anything, and it says here, as they stick their hand out with the bucket, so now you remember.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I think about just I guess what I would call a normal family that just lives life and has some religion tacked onto it. Have you ever seen the show The Middle?
The Middle.
Yeah. It ran.
Yeah, is that the one?
Mid 2010s. Somewhere around there, a little before that, I guess.
Yeah, that gal that used to be on, what's his name?
Everybody Loves Raymond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I know which one you're talking
Yeah, and you got that family. And, I mean, I appreciate that show in the sense that, it's like it seems like it's a real family. Because, I mean, I can identify with some of that,
Yeah.
the house, everything, that stuff. But one of the things that I noticed in that show was they would go to church on occasion,
right.
And it was like mom just trying to get the family to go to church. Right. They just get down to church. And there was this one episode where there was a buffet that had a special, and they wanted to go eat that, go have that buffet. Right. And it was it was super cheap. And so they were all excited, but mom wanted them to go to church. So right after church, they're going to go to this buffet. Well, they go to church and they're sitting there, and the kids are the older son and the daughter are fighting. Mm-hmm. And the dad picks up a hymn book and throws it at his son and hits a lady in front of him. Well, the pastor's up there, he's preaching, and he's seeing all this stuff. And so they get done. He's, probably like I guess a lot of churches, he's standing outside, and everybody's coming out and shaking his hand or whatever. The family gets there because they're trying to get to this buffet, right? Right. And the pastor says, "Hey, do y'all have a second? Can we talk?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we have 2 minutes or whatever, So they go to the office and they're talking. And the whole episode is basically them talking to this pastor together, separately, because as they're talking, all these things are coming out, these problems, and the pastor's going, "Okay, well, let me just talk to you for a second." And so they spend the whole afternoon, and they are getting late for this buffet. Right. And the whole time, this pastor's trying to help them. They're ready to just get out the door. Right. They're ready to go eat. They're ready to get this deal, go get this buffet, and that's all I can think. And they're getting angry, they're getting frustrated, all this stuff. And but they're not telling the pastor because they feel bad, but they're not telling the pastor, hey, we want to get out of here so we can do the buffet. And so I think about that, and it seems like that happens a lot where showing up on Sunday morning is, okay, let's just get this checklist,
Get it over, and we're going to eat.
Let me go do my
somewhere,
thing. Yeah.
Do whatever we're going to do after church.
Right. And church should be our life,
Right.
in the sense of, it's who are with.
Right.
It's who we, there's Bibles, there's all kinds of stuff to that, but, it should be our life for that, And,
Old Spice guy came back.
is that really your ringtone, or is your notification?
Actually, it is my notification. I will tell you what the notice says.
Oh, no.
Simon family, be sure to check out Pastor's News Blog today.
There you go.
Chill out and serve. So,
What's up?
perfect timing there.
Yeah. But you knew because you got the email, right?
Right.
So you're already ahead of the game.
Okay.
That's cool. But yeah, so double notification there for the blog.
Right.
But I feel like that's kind of a lot of the situations sometime in churches where people come in and they're ready to get out so they can go do their thing, and then you don't see them till the next week, right? I mean,
I had a guy, he was actually a deacon in the church where I went, and he taught Sunday school and all this, but his main deal was that it was all about Sunday.
yeah.
I gotta come home Sunday, so I get my batteries recharged.
Wow.
Well, you do the rest of the week.
So yeah, because you should be like during the week doing all this stuff, to the point where Sunday is like icing on the cake, right?
Right.
You're with each other, you've already seen each other, you've been at each other's houses, you ate together and studied together and all that stuff, and
But that didn't go on there, so
yeah.
we still had I guess they have a week of revival.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. Bring in some guy I never heard of for a week.
Yeah.
So they come in and preach a sermon every night for a week, but then turn around and look, it was full of the church. There wasn't any people outside the church. So I don't know who's all getting revived there, So,
Yeah.
so the intention there should be to bring people in so they can hear the message. If you have holding a revival, but mainly it's like the sad thing about Billy Graham's deals, like especially I know in the last few years, I guess, but I know my mother saw him twice. One time in 1956 of all places,
Oh, wow, okay.
Fairgrounds, and then another time was in the when was that? Early 90s. It was at the what they call the Cox Convention Center.
Okay.
And anyway, problem is, but all these churches, they loaded up their buses with people from the church, went down and filled the place up.
Big place of all kinds of.
So by that time, you're speaking to the congregation here. All you got's a bunch of church members out there.
Yeah.
Where's the people that really need the gospel at? They didn't have a seat for them. I guess it got too big to where the churches should have been bringing people down there and leaving them or dropping them off that needed. They went out and brought in from the neighborhood that needed Jesus Christ, is willing to go listen to it instead of all the church members hopping on the bus and going down there.
Yeah.
What good did it do them? If you're saved,
Yeah.
just other than to say, well, I went and saw Billy Graham.
Mm-hmm.
So
His brother Jack Graham several years ago did something in the city, and I think it was at the minor league team. It was there at Mickey Mantle, whatever, ball field there. Is it Mickey Mantle or no?
Chickasaw Ballpark.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Or Mickey Mantle Way or something.
Yes, Mickey Mantle. Okay, sorry. But they just changed their name to the Comets.
Oh wow, that really goes good with us around here.
Oklahoma City Comets.
Yeah, okay.
They're out of this world.
I guess so.
But he did something out there, and I remember him calling the church or the Jack Graham, whatever it's called the church and was like, "Hey, we're doing this thing out there. Can we add you to the list for people to, you know, if they're looking for a church, they can come out this way?" Because the way, if I remember correctly, the way they explained it was, you know, they would have a time for gospel and, you know, and if they got saved, and they'd figure out where they would live, and they would point them to churches in their location,
Right.
so they can, you know, go that way.
That was the way to do it, is to get them in and then, you know, set them up with somebody that's willing to go and sit down with them, truly give them the full gospel and bring them in. That's
Yeah.
The whole point is why they had people to the side there and everything. Although, I don't know if it's really what they said, but they actually had a lot of volunteers there that when Billy Graham would end, they'd get up and start walking towards the front. Just so other people wouldn't feel uncomfortable and get up that really wanted to come forward.
Yeah.
Or felt uncomfortable, but they see these other people come forward, so they would do it, you know.
They would do something like that. They had that concert called Winter Jam, and it's several different Christian musicians from different like Christian genres and things like that. And they always have a couple of things out there, and one of them is it's kind of like a feed the children thing, but it's for adoption. And so they'll do a big old presentation of that or whatever, and they'll ahead of time ask people to help, and they'll give them like a vest and stuff, and they'll give them the packets to hand out, and then they'll do the same thing at the very end of the whole concert thing, where they'll do an explanation that, because it's like, it used to be $10 to get in, and now it's like $15 to get in. And so they always say, well, to make it cheap, you know, what we do is, you know, we charge you this to get in, $15 or whatever, and then to help pay for the venue, then they do an offering.
Right.
And so they have these big old buckets,
Yeah.
and they have, you know, and they have these Winter Jam vests, and they get people from the audience, and they go up and down. They have a time where somebody sing a last song or something, and they're passing around and giving. I've seen those buckets. I've seen them
Big
go
buckets.
past me, and they are filled.
Big buckets.
Yeah, like, I mean, they're, in my best guesstimation, 5-gallon buckets. Yeah.
They're big buckets, yeah. They own it.
Yeah.
And people give it, so.
It reminds me of that story you told, where that one church,
When
where
my brother went,
yeah.
well, I can tell you who it was. You know the guy's name?
Uh-uh.
Rod Parsley.
Rob Part, yes, that's right.
You know, they had some kind of guest there or something anyway. You know, they passed the plate once and then come back and said that wasn't enough. Nobody's leaving here till we get a certain amount of money for this guy or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That's crazy.
Shut and lock the doors. You ain't going nowhere.
Nobody's going nowhere till we meet our goal.
Nowadays, they'll have a QR code on the screen and scan it so you can give online that way. Which, have you seen? You've seen those people that go, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And they got those little deals, and it's a restoration place in the city. And they go around asking for donations. And that donation goes to them so they can, you know, get off drugs or whatever else. And the little, it's just a little leaflet that they give. It's got the information and all that stuff. And they're always coming to, hey, you mind helping out this restoration? I got my life right. I got off crack or whatever else. And one time there was a guy that came up to me at a gas station, and he handed it to me. He goes, and I said, man, I literally don't have any cash on me.
Right.
He goes, oh, that's okay. We take Cash App and Venmo, and it was on the paper leaflet.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all getting smart.
Yeah, they are. I'll do that. That's the ones that. What's those ones that hang outside of Walmart up there? Got the table set up and it's on in wooden.
Yes, yeah.
They can do the same thing if you say you ain't got no cash.
Yeah. I had one guy, that same outfit, I had one guy, he stopped me outside and, hey, would you like, so not today. I said, I got y'all last time y'all came out. Because I did. I got like a little wooden cross still and you know, gave a few dollars. It wasn't much, but, and I said, well, I got y'all last time we're here. And he goes, oh, okay. And then like his look on his face, he like grimaced at me, and then he kind of stared me down, and then he goes, so was it guys or girls here last time? Like trying to question me, like to verify if I actually bought something. And I'm like, it was guys. Okay, all right, cool. I'm like, what does it matter, man?
Yeah, I know.
Gosh.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Or the guys and girls that sit out here, the anti-bullying table and stuff. It's like Project Hope or something, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's part of that. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, all right.
Project Hope.
Ah, that's.
Takes the stuff out there. I like the guy on Murphy's Corner over there. Same guy. He's moved down to the stoplight now.
Yes.
And it was like 0 out there the other day, and he was still standing there. And
he's been out there for months and months and
telling
months.
him just walk across the street there, and Whataburger's hiring.
Yeah. Well, I see him walking across the bridge, so he's probably staying somewhere on the south side.
Have you seen the guy with the white beard that's been out there too?
Yes.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, if you look, he's got a real nice blue pickup over with
that
camper
Ford pickup,
shell,
yeah.
Camper shell on it. You know, it's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah,
And
okay.
dude, you're old enough for Social Security, so what are you doing with your money? You know?
I'm not kidding. Well, I wonder too, you know, if some of them are like, you know, criminals of the, you know, kid persuasion, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe they're on that realm or something too, because like that guy that's been out there for months that was moved down the light, you know, I've seen him, but I've seen him in Walmart walking around, and I've seen him like staring at kids, you know, and so that made me think, well, maybe
he's one of those.
Maybe I don't know, but
You never know.
yeah.
Can't get a job in there.
Yeah.
It might be. You never know.
But speaking of Whataburger, I am glad we're getting a Whataburger.
That's finally. We got a real burger joint in this town.
Yeah, no kidding.
None of that Sid stuff.
That's right. I don't want an onion burger. I want a cheeseburger. No.
I want a real burger. Is what I want. Actually, I was surprised as I went up to Kansas here a couple of weeks ago that stopped at a McDonald's. I never eat at McDonald's anyway.
Yeah.
We stopped there because she thought we was going to get some breakfast, but breakfast had stopped.
What time did you show up?
It was probably close to 11.
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, and you know, what I don't like about the place was you had to go to a kiosk, put an order in. You know, you don't have a person. You got
Yeah.
got to talk to the machine. You know. So then, but I ordered a double quarter pounder with cheese, bacon burger.
Okay.
That thing was actually good.
Yeah, the quarter pounders aren't bad.
I mean, but this is a double meat with the bacon on it. And it was like, wow, they actually got good bacon.
Well, and I think the quarter pounder, I think that's the only burger that they cook fresh when you order
Yeah,
it.
it was fresh. It was hot. It was really hot, and I thought, well, that's new.
Yeah. I like
Been
that.
sitting back here for half a day.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
a little warmer thing. You're like, oh, okay, come on. At least do what Burger King does and throw it in the microwave.
Well, there's a time limit on that because I went in. This was years and years ago. I went into McDonald's over off of Northwest Expressway. That guy was in there, and I ordered a burger and fries, and he goes, well, you're gonna have to wait a minute, because they were taking all that up. So our time limit's out on that. We'll have to cook you one fresh. So they took all those other ones that were there and threw them in the trash.
Oh, wow, okay.
So they only keep them out there for so long.
Yeah, supposed to.
Yeah, it might have been. That's so long. It might have been 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, in high school and into college, I worked at Burger King, and there was a few things that you would do, you know, that you weren't supposed to with food, especially when you were like closing,
Yeah.
and somebody would show up like 15 minutes before you close. You know, you're like, and you're cleaning up towards the end, and so like fries, there was fries in the bin.
Yeah.
Then you would just throw them back in the fryer a little bit and then stick them back in there, you know, or same thing with burger. You would microwave it a little extra, a few seconds.
Give a few.
Yeah.
Well, I blame Burger King for part of my heart condition. You know, back in the day when I worked downtown, there was one about 3 or 4 blocks from where I worked at, and I often visited the place and got me like a double meat Whopper with cheese, heavy on the mayonnaise.
Okay.
And so they were good enough to eat, and they ate plenty of them during that time period. So I think that's what a lot of that kind of thing.
There you go.
But then again, it might have been the old, back in them days, they were called Don's Dairy Queens there in Oklahoma City. And they had, you go in there and get a double meat burger with cheese and bacon and chili on it.
Ooh,
It was sloppy, but it was good.
that's good. That's
That may have
good.
been part of the problem.
Did you ever get heartburn and stuff?
Back in them days, not really. Not when I was younger, I didn't. But I do now.
Yeah, me too. I've always got Tums somewhere around me.
Something around there you gotta have. So,
That's terrible.
but yeah, that there was the good old days when you could eat all this stuff.
Yeah.
Before the doctor says that's no good for you.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
right.
At the time, it
The
did
food
real good.
pyramid.
That pyramid joke.
It was, yeah. Yeah.
Eat what you want to eat, I guess, because everything. Well, if you live in California, everything's bad for you.
Yeah.
No matter what you eat. So.
Organic.
Can't eat no candy or nothing. Organic. I love that word. They use that word organic now on just about anything you buy. You know, every product, and that was because they got in trouble with the FDA a few years back because they all said everything was natural, and so they just replaced natural with organic. That's all they've done. So it's probably as natural as it was before.
Yeah.
As it is organic. So.
Oh, that's terrible.
Artificial ingredients aren't natural. Well, the chemicals were natural.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We naturally put them on.
And you know, it came from nature. We mix them two things together. You know,
Yeah.
you take which one is it? Is it peach? Is it the peach core? Is it the seed? One of them, peach or plum, is it's got cyanide in them. In the,
I do not know.
in the
I don't
core.
know.
In the core, one of them.
Oh, wow.
Or cyanide. Is it cyanide or? It's one of them poisons.
It's not good for you.
It's not good if you ate it, you know. But that's a natural.
Yeah.
So we just give you natural ingredients. We put a little cyanide in there.
When I get sick, it's natural.
So,
Yeah. That's awesome.
it's one of them poisons, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like drinking chlorine in your water all the time.
Yeah.
That's got to have some effect on people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can't, that's not natural for the body anyway. But,
Yeah.
we'll let Robert Kennedy Jr. figure all that out for us in the future.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
plans on doing it,
Yeah.
so. But,
He's serious about that stuff. That's
what was funny was the one, the Skittles and all that stuff. You know, they got them red dye and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And they're talking about, it was I forgot who it was, said Congresswoman or something was talking about that. Said, well, he's going to take all this out of it, you know. And I said, well, he said they had less in Canada. Well, we got 18 different ingredients, he said, in the ones in the United States, and only 3 ingredients in the one in Canada, but the colors and stuff come from natural fruit. Natural fruit juice, and
wow.
you know, it's because Canada wouldn't allow them to do that. So,
Yeah.
you know, just like you go buy a Coke in Mexico, you're gonna get sugar in it. You're
Yeah,
not
that's
getting this
right.
Other stuff.
That
so,
pure sugar cane.
Right.
It makes a difference too.
It quite a bit of difference in the taste. Tastes like the old Coke that they quit. Said they weren't going to get rid of.
Uh-huh.
All they did was they let it go a while, and then they just simply, after it all died down, they simply went ahead and put the stuff in there.
Yep.
And that's all that was the only change in the deal was taking the sugar out
Mm-hmm.
and putting what is this stuff called? It's in everything now.
Yeah, the high fructose
High
corn
fructose
syrup.
corn
Yeah.
syrup, which isn't even corn syrup, but
No. It's
they
like
make up, they make up that stuff, you know.
it's like no sugar, but then you look on the label, it says high fructose. It's like, but it's still that's too
Yeah.
bad.
But it's bad for you.
Yeah.
But they put it in there anyway.
Well, you know what's not bad for you?
But,
Listening to our
oh,
podcast.
that's right.
So, as we wrap up here, I want to remind everybody to search, subscribe, and share. And please share. Please share. Share your links. Share your YouTube channel. Share it all. You can search us up, Coffee with Phil and Jim podcast. And we have a YouTube channel. We have an Instagram. We have Facebook. So hit us up on that as well. And we'll get some more information out there. And getting back in the studio, things are crazy. And, we're going to do this as much as possible. But that's why it's important to go ahead and like and hit those notifications as well. So make sure you sign up for that. So
Alrighty. We still gonna do a song going on.
if you got some,
I
yeah.
got one, yeah. This guy here learned to play the guitar. They're both from Merrick, Oklahoma, from an old boy named Chet Woolley.
Okay.
Which, if you ever watch Rawhide, he was a regular on Rawhide. So.
Okay.
And he was in a bunch of movies too. In fact, he was in Silverado. So, well, Chet Woolley was. But this guy here is Roger Miller, and Chet Woolley taught him how to play the guitar. So
Okay.
it's another Okie. All right.
Oh, a little sunshine song.
Sunshine song. This is Jimmy Nick.
And this is Phil.
Adios.
See you next time.